Hi, it's Peter here from the Film Festival crew. I'm absolutely delighted to be with Adam Scott-Houghton, the lead actor, and Jonny Bryan, the writer-director of Next in Line. Absolutely hilarious comedy that we have in the festival this year. Guys, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
Jonny, I'll ask you the first question.
Yeah.
This is your first film.
Yeah.
Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
We should say the film's been nominated quite a few times for this festival.
Yeah, I'm not counting. I'm counting.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Right, so 4 awards: Best Screenplay,
Yeah.
Best Actor,
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actor, and Best Local Film.
Yes.
So for a first effort, absolutely outstanding. And
Yeah,
I can
thank
speak
you.
on behalf of all the members of the selection team that we all absolutely loved this film. We all thought it was absolutely hilarious.
It
The
means
film,
a lot, it really
the
means a
performances,
lot.
everything, the whole thing, we all loved it.
Oh, thank you.
So, enough from me for a minute. Tell us what the film is about, first of all.
So Danny and Tommy are sort of London's less successful criminals. All the aspirations, no actual talent. Basically, it started where growing up local Essex, it's like a lot of boys, and myself included, when I was a kid, like you're watching films and it's football hooligans and gangsters and things like that. And when you're a kid, that's what you you aspire to be like. And so it started from there, and it just sort of worked its way into bank jobs and cannabis grows and everything in between. And yeah, so that's where we are.
So tell us a little bit about the actual premise. What happens in the story of the short film?
Okay, so Next in Line. So we open up with Danny and Tommy, and they're trying to get their name out there to become more renowned, more infamous.
Yeah.
And after a lot of debate after what they should do, they come to the agreement that they need to do a bank job, because it is the easiest and the best way to climb the criminal ladder.
Basically.
Yeah. And so they go through with a bank job and go on a run, because that is the formula to every criminal enterprise of all time.
Yeah. It's fair to say that they're not the brightest.
No.
And they get into all number of hilarious capers and situations.
Yeah.
And just some of the lines. I mean, I watched the film, I think, for the third time again last night, and I still laughed the third time.
Oh, well, I'm happy about that.
It means a lot, yeah. At least someone's laughing at it.
Yeah.
So we should probably just mention the sort of device of the film. So it's shot sort of like a BBC Three mockumentary kind of style. So it's like a camera crew are sort of following these two. You don't see the camera crew, but that's the sort of premise. So everything sort of happens in real time. You can see what I mean?
No, definitely. I mean, when we started playing with the idea, it was just a mockumentary, and it was sort of more about the talking heads and stuff like that. And then as we got more into it, I started watching more of, believe it or not, it might be like sacrilegious to say, but the American Office.
Okay, yeah.
Because what I found with the American version of The Office, that mockumentary style, was it's interesting to watch with no sound.
Okay.
It's a lot of zooming in, pulling out, whereas the English Office is much more bleak, cold, wides. Whereas with Next in Line, because the performances were so great, I felt like I had to keep trying to match it with the camera movement, which is hard when when
it was really on point with the back and forth.
Yes. Those are some of the funniest bits when the camera is on one of the characters. He says something ridiculous, and then the camera looks across for the reaction of the other one, and he's like, "What the?"
No, it's
but then he will say something equally as stupid, like a minute later. So the chemistry between them is just
the chemistry between Adam and Steve is brilliant. I mean, the thing is, it's like so much gets left on the cutting room floor with a mockumentary, because some of the best lines, obviously the best lines do go in, but you'll miss really good little gems because they just don't. It doesn't fit the role, and these boys could riff for hours, and they're so good together.
Yeah. Okay. So that was going to be one of my questions. How much was on the page, and how much was ad-libbed?
Oh. Well,
Or
if
do you know what it
Adam,
Yeah.
he'll say it was like 90% improv.
Probably, yeah.
And if you want the truth, it's about 80-90%.
Right.
There was quite a bit of times where I went off book,
Yes.
Only because Jonny allowed me to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was like, Ad, if you feel like saying something, it comes naturally.
Yeah.
There was a few lines in there that I experience isn't essential, but it's required. that come out of mine.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I feel like when you're making comedy, like it just has to be organic.
Yes,
it has
definitely.
And it doesn't, like, my ego goes out the window because all I care about is this the funniest thing we're getting on the day.
Yeah.
Whether it's the script or it's Adam and Steve just ad-libbing, as long as it's the funniest we can get out of the day, then I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of, with comedy, it's sort of it's the element of, you know, capturing the moment in the sense of anything could happen in that moment, and if you get the right moment to happen and it comes naturally, then great. But say you're doing a drama and you've got your writer he's like, you know, stay to the script, and it's a lot more, you don't have as much leniency sometimes. But with comedy, it's like in the moment,
Just have to go with it.
It just has to be organic.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
And it can come across, and an audience can tell.
Yeah.
And especially with a mockumentary like with Next in Line, you can tell when things are too rigid.
Definitely, yeah. So we've mentioned the actors. How did you meet them? How did you cast them?
So a few years ago, I'd done a little short practical filmmaking course.
Okay.
And it was just to learn camera, because I was going in, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to write, I didn't know how to film. So I went to I did a little short 6-month filmmaking course, and at the end of the course you had to make a graduation film. So I put a casting call out, and Adam came, and Steve came obviously, and I remember seeing like 10 or 12 people, and Adam walked in character, right, with leather gloves on, and like a Tom Hardy coat, like fur coat.
Yeah, I couldn't picture
the minute he walked in, I was like, "Nah, you've got it."
That's the guy.
And then that was a few years ago, and we made my grad film, and then I knew there was something in it where we had to make it properly and
go further with it.
And we tried it again, and that's where we are now. And the same with Steve. Steve turned up on the day, and they was just excellent.
Yeah.
So I mean that was 2-3 years ago. So I've been with Adam and Steve working on it for 2-3 years. Even though it's my first short, it's been a long. We've been rewrites, and we've shot test footage and
there
stuff
was times
like that.
when we were there was times where we were like meeting up just like weekly, just going to like anywhere we could meet up really, just to brainstorm, to get an idea together, because we wanted to go forward with it, and you know, not let the idea sort of diminish and, you know, go stagnate, and we wanted to keep it fresh. So we were meeting up going, what can we do?
I mean, credit where credit's due, Adam did come up with a bank job.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to do it.
You were the brains.
I did not want to do a bank job.
I'm not as good a writer as Jonny, so I said, this is what should happen. There should be a... Can I drop spoilers in there? Yeah, there should be a blowtorch, and we should, you know, we'll go in, he has a blow, and then Jonny was like, I was like, can you write it? And Jonny wrote it.
This is the thing. Adam just says, "Oh, I've got this idea," and I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "So write it," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, all right, let's do that." And he's like, "Bank job." I'm like, "Okay, you know I've got to pay for this." And he's like, "Yeah, bank job."
Yeah,
Cannabis
bank job.
plants. And I'm like, "All right, yeah, put it in. We'll try."
But I was like, then I'll get us a bank vault. So he was like, "How are you going to do that?" So I was like, "Right,
yeah,
we'll go."
Did.
We went to this gaff. I spoke to the lady there and everything, and she was like, "Yeah," because in central London I found a vault where they let it out to film production companies. Yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, we wouldn't have got it if it wasn't for Adam.
Charmed them.
So
charmed them into
it. You got to just.
He had longer hair then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think it was the curtains.
So 2 things. First thing, when you arrived today, I barely recognised you because your hair you've cropped it all off.
Yeah.
Secondly,
it was getting in the way.
You're doing it in this interview. I can tell. You're not actually from London.
No.
But I can hear that part of Danny Parker coming back.
It will, because I'm sat next to him.
Yeah, so this is just so confusing for me.
If I'm sat next to him, I start talking like that.
So where you tell everyone where you're originally from
Manchester.
and talking your real...
Manchester.
Yeah, see, this is just wild.
So I was actually born in Bolton.
Right.
Yeah, in the hospital. I've even forgot what it's called. I've not been to Bolton for a very long time.
Yeah,
but,
I mean that was one of the struggles early on set, wasn't it? Like things like
words.
One.
Okay.
One.
So I'll say a word and I'll say water and he'll say water and I'll go no. Got to do that whole
take
again.
You're in Romford now, so you should speak like the rest of us.
There's still little bits in the film that because I watch it back and I go, there's the mank.
Okay, I never noticed.
The way you've got a good ear.
I think if you watch the cannabis scene, there's a bit where I say plant and not plant.
Okay.
And I've watched that ever since.
That's the giveaway.
I've had to skip past that bit and go, oh, you messed that bit up.
That's the truth. Yeah,
that's the one.
Oh, but honestly, so convincing. I mean, that's why both you guys, both the actors are nominated here, because we just thought these people are. Obviously, they're caricatures. I get that.
I mean, Steve's great,
but they're so real, and I think every one of us knew someone like those characters.
Definitely, that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, in my case, I was that at like 14, 15.
Right. Okay.
Like that was me, and then my friend was like, I know a guy who is just like this.
Yeah.
And then it's like you'll say like girls will say, oh, I used to go out with a guy like that. Like it's so universal. It's got nothing to do with London, and it's
exactly.
London's
up in Manchester, there's a Danny and a Tommy.
Right.
There's probably one at every corner.
Yeah, there's one. Well, there's one everywhere, isn't
there? Okay, so how long did it take you to write what the initial outline was? And what's your process for writing? Did it all come quickly? Did you spend a little bit of time?
It's been reworked for like I said, it's been reworked for like 2-3 years. But this short was literally, we made it, didn't we? Like we come out with the outline in about 2-3 days. Like I said, Adam would just say, right, we need to do a bank job. And I'd say, right, okay. And I always wanted to do it because there's something to me funny about cannabis.
Bank job.
And it's something funny to me about people growing cannabis. I don't know why.
Right.
It's just funny to me.
Okay.
So those were the two things we went really hard on.
He's speaking from experience.
Yeah. I've got to go back in a minute and check it. And then obviously with the airport stuff and that. But no, so to get back to your question, it took about this probably took about 2-3 days of hard intensive, but it was weeks and months of spitballing ideas and
that cannabis set we built in like 2 days. It was actually in a bathroom.
Yeah, it was in my sister's bathroom.
What I did was got rolls of tinfoil and bin bags and just decked it out.
But how I write is we literally will just do the lines, wouldn't we? We'll just spitball lines at each other all the time, and a lot of it, and like we'll do not screen tests, but we'll like do test footage and stuff, and then I'll pick out I might pick out one word out of a whole scene and change everything else around it. So I mean, there's no real concrete way of how I write. It's just like I said, it's just whatever gets the best joke. Yeah. And I think with comedy, I think that the primary objective is as long as it's funny.
There's nothing worse than an unfunny comedy. There really isn't. And a false one, you can see it.
Definitely.
You can see it all coming and it falls flat.
The worst thing I think is when it's you're trying too hard to get a laugh.
That's it. Yep.
I think like the funniest thing is when you shouldn't really laugh at something, or it's just funny because it's funny, not because oh my god. There's a very fine line, isn't there? You know.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to make ourselves laugh.
Yes.
That's the main thing we go out to, and when we come to the Romford Film Festival and everyone's like, oh well, we really like it, or it's up for these awards, it's massive for us because at the end of the day, we're just trying to make ourselves laugh first, which I suppose everyone is. I suppose everyone does that.
So Adam, do you usually do comedies as an actor, or?
So that's the funny thing. I was pursuing more of a serious route beforehand, and then I ended up doing this and just
and then I ended up doing this shit.
Yeah, I fell in love with it. No, the Essex is coming out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
I'll do the Mancunian. Yeah.
Yeah. Play for the next 5 minutes.
Or it can be from Ireland or something.
Oh no.
That's
why he's up for the award.
But, like, I think like
you knew Next to None was a comedy though, didn't you? From the brief. No, I'm saying I did put that in. I can't remember.
No, I knew. Yeah, no, I knew. But you did. You put it in capitals. Comedy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Comedy. Yeah,
that's right. Because people turn up really reading it serious.
And I met him and I was like, he's not that funny, but.
Yeah.
And then I was like, he's actually quite funny. Yeah, exactly. So we got on.
And here we are.
We just got on when I got in there. We got on, and then when we like, I walked in like an idiot with like a flipping big trench coat on, gloves, and I went in speaking like flipping Tom Hardy or something because that was in the script.
Right.
So I walked in talking like that.
That's right. Yeah, back in the day, it was more about impersonating the Craigs, weren't it?
Yeah, because in the original like sort of footage we did, there was a scene in there when I'll say, can't I?
Yeah,
where they're both the boys are stood in a boxing gym,
Right.
and Tommy stood in front of a mirror, and I'm being interviewed, and he's in front of this mirror going, I come here for a shootout.
Yeah.
Shootout!
Yeah,
and I go over to him, and I walk over and I'm like, a shootout is a shootout! Like that.
That's spot on. Wow.
But we've gone
yeah.
well off his question.
I know, I don't
Carry
know.
on,
Yeah.
please.
Terrible.
But it
Sorry,
started-
mate.
carry on.
You're going to have a
It
5-hour-long
started because-
interview here.
That's what I mean. We used to do that in a playground, like
Right, yeah.
do lines off of films.
Yeah, yeah.
Like people,
Yeah.
I remember the boys at school. Their group of boys was called the Firm.
Right.
We're like 14, calling
Yeah.
themselves the Firm. It's embarrassing, but that's what
The Firm,
And then it was. I weren't in it. I weren't allowed.
Yeah. You weren't firm enough.
But that's what it come from. So it's like playground, and like you said, it's caricatures. It's playground stuff
exactly.
that these guys are in their mid-20s now, and it's like it just added to the comedy of these are a bit too old to still be thinking it.
Yeah, these guys.
But they're perfect. Adam and Steve are perfect for it.
Back to your question.
Go for it.
I was doing more drama, but
Yeah.
like, obviously found comedy, and I actually really enjoy that. I could see more like sort of comedic roles now.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I didn't really think I was much of a comedic actor,
Okay.
but
You've been home.
I think it shows you're that good an actor to be able to do comedy. It's
Yeah,
very hard to
definitely.
do. We've just said that.
no, I appreciate it.
How long did the film take to shoot, and what challenges did you face? Because we.
What, every day?
Is that for both of us or just him?
Yep, both of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take to shoot? A month? Because we wasn't shooting in like a 5-day
Right.
week.
Okay.
We were shooting when we could.
Switch over.
Okay.
Because it was low budget, weren't we? And we kind of just was doing it when everyone could be there, when
It
we
was-
could get the set.
Sort of like when we could get crew together and everyone could all be in the same place at the same time, which
Sure.
you probably know is quite difficult when you're trying to get everyone in one place.
Everyone's working on different things.
Yeah,
With
so we
that.
probably shot over a month, 3-4 weeks, because it was in the summer.
Oh
And it was
mate,
boiling.
yeah.
Mhm.
Some of the
Like
days
hot.
I was in that 3-piece
The
suit,
suit, yeah.
and I'm there.
And I'm in t-shirts, going, mate, cool yourself down. And
Yeah.
he's like, mate, I've got a 3-piece.
I'm there sweating, looking at him like, mate, I'm boiling.
And Tommy's got a
dripping.
blowtorch,
Yeah.
waving it.
Waving it about.
And it's like 35. Challenges. I mean,
Yeah.
the cannabis stuff is hard to find. I did not know you could not get. We found one.
We just
cannabis
went to a
plant.
local dealer.
Yeah. There was one
He knew a guy.
prop company
Pablo
who
or
does
something.
cannabis. There's one prop company in like all London.
Yeah.
It's Sugar Vision.
Sugar Vision, Marco. It's Marco. innit?
Unbelievable.
What a
Sorted us
boy.
right out.
He's a legend. He proper sorted us out.
We
'cause
could only afford like 4.
I contacted him like, mate, you do weed for television and film? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I want some, but we're making a really like low budget film. What do you want? A couple of weed plants, 4 or 5 plants. He gave us an extra plant.
He did.
Went to get 4 because we didn't want to go over the budget, and he just could see that we were like desperate, I guess. And he just threw an extra. Here's an extra, like what are they called, sativa.
I don't know, man.
Something sativa clone. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
I've got an
Don't
alright.
yourself there.
My memory's alright. My memory's alright. Yeah, my memory. Don't
Not
brush
incriminate
yourself up,
myself.
literally.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
this is the thing though, it's like all the problems and challenges we faced, you normally was sort of helped by people just being nice.
Yeah.
It's like with the bank vault, we was really struggling to find a bank. I mean, like, we just couldn't get one. I mean, imagine walking into Barclays and saying, oh, it's alright, can you just pop in your bank for 4 hours? Pop in your vault.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Right.
So we was...
I mean, that's
when you
never
tell
going to happen in a
people-
proper bank.
No, but when you tell
Choose your
people
vault.
we're independent and we're low budget and we're literally just trying to make things work, and that people was really kind.
Yeah.
Maybe Stansted wasn't. Stansted didn't even know we were there.
We just walked into the airport and shot in the airport.
That's
Which
what I
I
was
would-
trying to work out how you did it.
Yeah, don't recommend that to anyone.
Yeah, we
I
were
wouldn't do that.
we were just blogging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did wonder how you managed to do that. I thought it was definitely some kind of guerrilla tactics
Oh,
going
like
on.
that. And like I said,
Hidden cameras
do
or
not
something.
do that. Do not do that in an airport.
Yeah, I did
Because-
wonder how you got that through the
It's alright, we didn't have the blowtorch in the airport.
No,
so-
that's
No,
good.
we didn't.
Yeah, it's alright.
No, we didn't.
Well, I didn't.
It's
Tommy
not,
we
might
didn't
have
not
it.
suitable.
We couldn't even take the boom in.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if you walk in with a boom, you walk in with a mixing bag. So I literally just followed the boys in. They walked to the departures and then we cleaned.
I've got
cut
a
it, didn't
really
we?
funny bit of trivia for you if you wanna, if I can
For
mention
me?
it. Well, for him,
Okay.
for the gentlemen. But when we were driving towards the airport, we spoke of doing a scene of a Burger King, because obviously we're like, Burger King is in Stansted Airport and not Gatwick or whatever, and we were driving there on the motorway, and I said, there's a service station there, there's a Burger King in there, let's go and just film that scene that was never going to be at a Burger King. It was just going to be, you know, an airport or something, and we went and shot at that Burger King.
That's what I suspected. I'm glad, interesting.
On the way there.
Yeah, I did think, I thought, they've got that in a service station. Yeah, but only because I've seen the film 4 times. I wouldn't have known at all. I wouldn't even thought about it.
I've not even watched it 4 times.
It's a passing thing, and it's just like you said, the challenges we kind of just dealt with. But there was nothing like groundbreaking. We was never at a day where it was pouring down a rain and the gear wasn't there and Steve didn't turn up.
It was just days where it was boiling hot and I wish it was pouring down with rain. But wearing a suit in that weather. But people go through a lot worse, so
definitely
can't complain.
So I've got a 2-parted last question.
Okay.
Where are you taking the film next? Are you going to other festivals, etc.?
Probably just can.
Nothing less. Nothing less than
Tribeca. Me and De Niro have got a word at
so what are you doing with the
Tribeca.
film next?
Well, ideally, we always had it in mind. The bigger picture for it was going to be serialised. Like we always, it was episodic, wasn't it? We always had, because the way we left Next in Line is they get arrested. So I always imagined, well, people want to know what's going to happen. Yeah. They're going to have to come out eventually. I mean, maybe not Steve, maybe you will. Yeah. But we drew out like a guide, really, an outline of where we wanted to go.
Well, the Bible, basically,
it's basically a Bible.
Next chapter.
And it's like episode 2 through 4, and it's like them getting back on their feet and coming out on prison tags, and which is like, again, it's growing up in Essex. You see this all the time. This is people's real life. People do come out and they're on tag for 6 months and they can't go. But then we wrote
so much that didn't make it in there, and that in the future we would like to shoot. There's so many silly, stupid things
I feel like
we've got on paper.
To not do it.
That's why we want to do it, make it into a series or something, because we feel like there's so much on paper that people should see that we're just laughing at. We'll just go, do you remember we wrote that? And
so for now, I think it's just trying to get it out to everyone and whoever we can. And get as many eyes on it as possible.
See who likes it, see what people think, and if people like it, then we'll go further with it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's brilliant. I really would like to see more. We all would. And if you do make it, bring it back here.
Absolutely.
Bring it back here to Romford.
We'll be here next year.
Absolutely. We'll be here all the time now. You won't get rid of it. You'll be like, that mank. He's broken into the inner sanctum.
Jonny, Adam, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us, mate. Cheers.
Thanks a lot.